Hello and welcome to CRT Sound System. We have got episode 88 today, and we're talking about Cyberpunk. Here with Reese, as always. Reese, how are you?
I'm great. How are you, Tom?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. Yeah, excited to talk about Cyberpunk. And we've got a guest returning, a guest, Ash. How are you, Ash?
Hi, I'm good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
welcome to the
welcome back
show.
once again, Ash. You're racking up the pod appearances, and I think
Yeah.
with today's subject, this might be one of the top episodes. It's not the top episode. I predict it's going to be a top fiver.
I'm racking up my CRT sound system miles. Soon enough, they'll let me in the VIP lounge. I've heard there's free food.
They don't even give
Exactly.
me free food. But yeah, we're talking about Cyberpunk. I guess Ash, if you want to give a quick explainer on what Cyberpunk is, for anyone who may
Yeah.
not know what it is somehow.
I mean it's if you haven't heard about Cyberpunk 2077 and one of the greatest redemption stories in gaming, like where have you been the past 5 years? Um it's an incredible RPG that was taken from a state where it changed the rules of how Sony's PlayStation Store refunds worked because it was so bad to it went from that to winning Game of the Year because it had a DLC pack that was better than everything else that came out that year. It Cyberpunk is a very interesting story as far as its development goes. As far as the game goes, it's a extremely fun and immersive dystopian capitalist future full of awful circumstances and good people trying to get through them and really bad people causing those circumstances too.
It really
Yeah.
is the only rivaled by No Man's Sky for
Mm.
really pulling its own name out of the gutter. Really
Maybe
having a
Final Fantasy
Cyberpunk
14.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's and it's I'm gonna probably be the biggest hater here, even though I do like a lot of it and I love the soundtrack. It's and I think that it's it really speaks well to how much the people behind this wanted the game to work, that they were really just willing to stick with it. And I think
Mm.
that it a lot of good stuff shines through now, and I'm glad they stuck with it. It's because for all of for the grousing I have done, and for the entire podcast I recorded on for video games are the worst thing on earth, that was just about hating it. I gotta say, I gotta hand it to him.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
really turn things around. I never gave one single solitary shit about Cyberpunk 2077 until maybe a few months ago. I saw some short form content about the game and it just looked cool, so I figured I'd give it a go. My first playthrough, I created an intensely irony pilled character. I tried to make her look as current day Republican Mar-a-Lago disgusting trash as possible. I tried to make every evil corporate decision that I could, and I didn't finish the playthrough. It got to my heartstrings to the point where I felt bad and wanted to restart things and play it for real this time. Um, so yeah, it's good as hell. I think it's as far as top RPGs or even top games of the decade, it's probably right around Baldur's Gate 3 in terms of overall quality. They do different things right. I think that Baldur's Gate has overall some more interesting singular characters, whereas Cyberpunk has a much better grasp of how to form a story and keep everything mostly tied into a singular narrative. Um, it yeah, both fantastic games. Cyberpunk has also received a few updates recently. Selfie camera, auto drive is pretty recent. Um, it's changed a bunch.
I
And
do I do love the auto drive, just as an aside on that. like one thing I would do a lot was just turn it on and I would just sort of just chill out and watch the city. Because
Yeah.
like yeah, like they do such a good job in the game of like creating the space that you're in, and like it just there's always something happening. You don't get a lot of like empty streets and stuff like that you do in a lot of bigger open world games. So like there is a sense of life in the city that is really really present there, and like yeah, it's one of those things. It's like something I suppose I compare to in my own mind is those scenes in Ghost in the Shell, where they just sort of sit there and they just have these scenes with just music and the cities, just to sort of like soak in that atmosphere. And like that's what I would do sort of late at night. Have finished work late at night, and I would play Cyberpunk for maybe an hour before going to bed, and some of that would just be spent just sort of like taking in this city and like listening to the atmosphere and the vibes.
Yeah. I remember from CD Projekt Red's interviews about the design of The Witcher 3,
Hmm.
and its overworld, that they wanted to try and pack as much like not just quest content, but visual content, things to see, things to think about, all of these little itty bitty things that create a cohesive world. And the problem with The Witcher 3 is that it's a gigantic game world that's mostly a forest with a couple of like small settlements and a city. And it's doesn't play quite as well compared to an actual megacity where
Yeah.
you're not looking at a forest of trees. You're looking at a forest of buildings of people churning in and out of them, cars everywhere, people selling this, that, and the other thing. I still won't forget Ronald the Ronson from Cyberpunk Phantom Liberty. Like just there's so many little things that are yelling at you and sticking in your mind, and like it feels so full. Whereas
Mm.
like with The Witcher Three's fullness, it's I don't know, it's the fullness of a quiet forest. There's birds and chirping and things going on off in the distance, and like it's interesting to wander through, but it just doesn't have that
Yeah.
same like raw density of Night City.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a big upgrade to me from The Witcher 3, which is a game I didn't love. I loved The Witcher and The Witcher 2 and The Witcher 3. I don't think it should have been an open world game. It should have been more or less linear, but that's a conversation for another time. Sorry, Reese.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, I will say that it is the things that Witcher 3 wanted you to love about the game, the kind of like bombast cinema of The
Hmm.
Witcher 3. It's like it really in my mind it really falls flat because there just isn't a character I'm sorry, Geralt's a bad character. I don't think he's compelling. And
No.
there's no Keanu Reeves factor, which
Hmm.
is, I think, the thing that puts Cyberpunk over the top. I think it ties out all of this together in a way I really need it to. Because, like, I feel like without Keanu Reeves, the game would struggle to feel cool. I feel like a lot of its cyberpunk design is really thoughtful, but is can't quite reach there outside of
Hmm.
the soundtrack, which is fucking really cool. And Keanu Reeves just being present in the city turns the corny advertisements into sometimes I think strained, like backstories that you read in the logs and stuff. It turns it into something that is just like, this is just how the world is, and it gives it an extra sheen. And I think it's, even if I have it has yet to win me over in the sort of like mechanical fusion of the driving and the shooting and everything. I think the story of Cyberpunk feels great. And when Keanu Reeves showed up, it definitely started to put it over the top for me. There was a moment where I was kind of grousing around driving because like I just like I hadn't quite like gotten my grips into the story because I feel the game does kind of begin like two or three times.
Yeah.
But once you get there, like I just did the clouds mission where you're tracking Evelyn
Oh,
Parker
okay.
down, and I felt like the sort of like the sex doll stuff that they come up with, and the way, and as you go through that club and go through that story, I was like, okay, this is interesting. It's I like having Keanu Reeves there just fucking grousing at you. Yeah, and it's really compelling. And so I'm excited to go through more of it, and sort of be able. My friend was just like I was talking about my complaints, and he was just like, just keep going through the main story so you can unlock more stuff and kind of actually engage with the mechanics. And I feel like it'll continue to get its hooks in you. And the other thing I was really impressed by is the kind of smash cut montage when after you get kind of, for me, like tossed out of the corpo, and then
Yeah.
you and Jackie go out on your own, and it's just like this incredible sequence of like you
It's so
establishing
good.
yourself as an independent, and that's something I have seen so rarely in games, is something that's able to pull off that kind of transition from like first person gameplay to just like a fucking Rocky training sequence or something. Anyways, enough rambling, but yeah.
No, yeah. I think on the subject of Keanu Reeves, I think that it's two things that specifically make Keanu's presence within the game extremely good, or I should say Silverhand, because it's Keanu is one half of that. Um,
Mm.
you have this incredible actor putting on an incredible performance as the worst man alive, Johnny Silverhand. I have so many thoughts on his character and different interpretations of it. But not only that, you also have the power of an active narrator, which I don't remember many games doing ever. The last one that
Mm.
really sticks out in my mind was Bastion, where you had a voice in your head that was commenting on everything that you were doing, and all of the quest text and descriptions and things were written in that character's voice. They were present within the world, but also present within your character's mind and your mind as the player. um it having Johnny kind of giving commentary, giving V someone to bounce their thoughts off of, as opposed to just having either A, a silent protagonist, or B, Geralt talking to himself. It really does add something. And yeah, it also just truly does help that it's Keanu Reeves being cool as fuck
Yeah.
the entire time. Like, it just, there's no two ways around that.
Yeah, like
Um,
it could so easily just sort of be a gimmick, and like because it's something you see a lot, and like would probably compare it to like Bethesda RPGs. But like, I remember when the Elder Scrolls 4 came out, and they were just like, look, we've got Sean Bean and we've got Patrick Stewart in this game. Isn't that great? And they both have have an equivalent, probably like 10 lines each, in that game. But like, yeah, Keanu feels like such an integral part of this game, both like it's sort of like its identity. It's like he has that, like he gives the game a voice,
Hmm.
that is and not just a voice to the game, but like a voice to the world, because he is your sort of he's your sort of Greek chorus for the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's such a good, well executed little conceit. Go on, Ree, sorry.
and I think too that and I mean this in the best way possible, it is all of those things and also a gimmick. Like Keanu Reeves
Yeah.
shows up and he's just like, "What's up? I'm the gimmick of Cyberpunk 2077. You're not getting rid of me for the whole game." And I was like mad
Yeah.
at him when he first
Yeah.
shows up and is talking about wanting to kill you. And I was just like, I'm not going to be able to get rid of this guy at all. There's nothing I'm going to be able to do. I'm stuck with him. And it plays well to the story that I
Yeah.
was mad. I was mad. I was stuck with him.
Yeah, he
Um,
should be. That
yeah.
sucks. Like, he's literally, like as you said, Ash, one of the worst humans of all time.
I have such opinions on Johnny Silverhand as a character. I have to say, this is a podcast with half of the hosting being transgender, and now that we've got two transgender women on the cast, I'm so sorry to do this to you, Tom.
Okay.
Johnny Silverhand is an egg. Johnny Silverhand is experiencing gender dysphoria. And if you play the game as Valerie, it adds so much to his character. Yeah, man, just, I love going into
Yeah.
flashbacks in a man's head and dealing with his, issues around his girlfriend that he can't connect with. And the only way that he can be present in the room is through drugs and alcohol and acting like a giant moron, blaming everything on giant higher powers instead of looking at his own flaws and faults. And then finally, after experiencing some consequences for his actions, he wakes up in the body of a woman and has to start realizing that maybe he needs to become a decent person and learn how to take accountability for things. And maybe he starts to like it. And instead of, at first he just calls you a whore when he wakes up in your body, but he gets used to it. And eventually, I not to spoil things, but there is a mission where he explicitly asks to take over your body so that he can go hook up with one of his exes. He is so down to use your equipment for his purposes. He's gung-ho to take over your body as soon as you give him the option to, like, yeah, I gotta say, Johnny Silverhand has a little bit of a revelation during his time in Cyberpunk 2077. It really incredible character. Obviously, if you're playing as Vincent, it's a whole different thing. You're not dealing with gender dysphoric Jenny Silverhand, but like I really do like Silverhand's journey from being a honest to goodness waste of space. I cannot stress enough. Samurai had very little lasting cultural impact outside of Johnny being a terrorist in Cyberpunk's lore. Like, people who are 50 years later still into Johnny Silverhand's music are kind of made fun of as like boomers who've
Yeah.
never gotten out of the past. Like he did not live a successful life. He was not nearly as cool as he thought he was. And if you let him do what he wants, he gets basically everyone around him killed.
Yeah.
I like the two women most important to him in the game that are not named Valerie. Can both end up deceased if you play your cards right and do what Johnny wants. He sucks. I love that about him.
To further your statement here, your true statement here, Ashley, is that I feel like Valerie is the canon version of V in the game. I feel like I've seen so many more Valerie's than I have Vincent's in my research, and I feel like, and also so many more people like it feels like the canon relationship in the game is Judy, which is the Valerie lesbian choice, and I don't know, I just feel like it is so much has been said of the voice actress for Valerie, that it's a female V is the canon V, and so Egg Johnny Silverhand is the canon Johnny Silverhand.
Makes sense.
I will say that the reason that Valerie's voice acting is so good is because her voice actress Shrami Lee is also in a Gundam movie. That's what it is. It's just the caliber. No,
Hell yes.
they definitely tried to write a canon romance for both Vincent and Valerie. Um, I like Vincent's canon romance with Pan Am.
Mm.
I think that the romance with Judy is just much better written. I have
Yeah.
installed the lesbian Pan Am mod, and I actually didn't get it to work the first time because I didn't flirt hard enough. You have to be like really, really, really gung ho to get into Pan Am's trousers in order to like actually get her to pay attention to you. It just like it's too pushy. I don't know.
That does seem a bit, yeah.
The reason that I feel it's easy to say that both Judy and Pan Am are the canon romances, and that like arguably Judy's is written better. One half of that being Valerie's voice acting, the other half being just Judy's a much better written character. They both are dedicated to leaving Night City. that is the end goal. River Ward and Carrie are not characters who want what's best for your character. Everybody hates River. There's no two ways around that. I hate River. He sucks so bad. I played his storyline once and it just
It sucks. Yeah. It's not it's such a gross story as well, just like
it's a fine story. I just wish that I didn't have to sit at family dinner with him and have him like awkwardly flirting with Valerie during that, and then right afterwards you have to awkwardly turn him down like 5 times in a row before he gets the hint. It's too much. But yeah, Judy and Panam both are dedicated to the actual like message of the game, which is that Night City is a bad place and you should want to leave. And both of them are smart enough to leave your ass if you decide to stay.
One of the first things I heard about the romances in Cyberpunk was that River, who it seems like that's the other choice for Valerie, is that it's a condemnation of heterosexual relationships.
Oh yeah.
Which
I don't know what lesbian they hired to write it, but oh my god, she was cooking.
Absolutely. Before we're definitely going to chat more about all of this, but I just want to make a quick comment and say, in all of this mix, the music is fucking next level, and I would say this it's the most next level thing about it. I love Keanu Reeves. I don't think Keanu Reeves' performance or writing is like pushing the envelope of what Cyberpunk can be, but it does kind of seem like that for the music, and I think that it makes all of this feel totally real. And I think at the time that we're recording, there's a controversy for Metroid Prime 4, where if you don't have the expensive motorcycle amiibo, you can't play music while crossing the open world, and people are like saying this sucks so much. And I just thought it was worth mentioning as just sort of like how much, obviously often discussed in this podcast, but I think Cyberpunk is particularly special in raising every boat and really tying the room together. Use the Lebowski parlance. Anyways,
Cyberpunk is probably one of the most music-pilled games that I've played in a very long time. The first episode y'all had me on for was Fury, which I would say is one of the other most music-pilled games. Having Johnny be diegetically a musician, having his music come on the radio, and like that being a part of the whole thing, it's not only just a part of the story, it's so important for the world building. I love all of the radio stations. I love all of the various weird tracks that come on, stuff that's in genres I would listen to and outside. This game made me want to listen to Pon shit outside of the game itself, and that's probably one of the most annoying sounding songs I've ever heard. Like, it's really good stuff. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, most of what we have, to be clear, is going to be from the score rather than the radio, because obviously a lot of that radio stuff is licensed. But it's definitely one of the really good, like I would say, up there with like Sleeping Dogs as like one of the best like in-game radio station selections for like
good.
Yeah, Sleeping Dogs is dope as hell. But yeah, the score was composed primarily by 3 people. So Marcin what is that? Przybylowicz. Okay, right. It took me a while to parse that. So Marcin Przybylowicz is who has been the sort of the main Witcher guy. For pretty much all the Witcher games, and then we got PT Adamczyk and Paul Leonard-Morgan. I mainly remember Paul Leonard-Morgan for the Dread soundtrack, for the 2012 Dread soundtrack, which is fucking incredible. One of the great movie soundtracks of the last 25 years.
And 10,000,000%.
Yeah, so good. We've got 4 tracks coming up. So I have by P.T. Adamczyk is the Rebel Path, Paul Leonard-Morgan with the Streets Are Long Ass Gutters. We've got Marcin Przybylowicz with Wushu Dolls, and then Paul Leonard-Morgan again with Trouble Finds Trouble. when I was doing Claire's quest line, and then was just fucking around, and I noticed the trans flag on the back of her car, and I was like, "That's a cool little touch." And then like later on, you obviously get more into it with her, but like, yeah, it's just I was like, that's a nice sort of more subtle thing to do, that not everybody would necessarily recognize or sort of notice.
Actually, didn't know about that. I haven't done Claire's quest line yet.
Oh, if you not know if you can actually like if you go in you can or if you look at the back of her car, it's just got like a little badge or like a decal or something on the back of the car that's just a trans flag.
Oh hell yeah!
Um, yeah, it's cool. And again, like just one of those nice little details in the game that like even if you go through her quest line, you can you can not go down all the dialogue trees and you can not find that information out about her. Um, but like if and like obviously in the game she's a pretty private person as well, like so she's not like there telling you about her entire life story, but like there's a lot of context clues about it and stuff like that, and it's like as the cis man of the podcast, I don't want to say like give it like points for it, but like it did feel to me like something a little
you're a
bit more
grumbler.
subtle.
You can say it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the sort of thing where it's like, even when I was an absolute hating on Cyberpunk, the ads and stuff, I just had a hard time really caring about. Where it's just like, if another trans person has like things to criticism about it, obviously I'm not gonna fuss with them about it. But to me, it feels like the fact that the game just lets you be trans without commentary is like so much more woke than like 99.9% of other things. Like, and so that's the one thing where I was always just like, just it's fine, it's fine,
Yeah.
don't worry about it.
And I think in particular with this game, it is a bit more interesting just because there was that sort of weird pre-release culture war stuff around it, where like all the right-wing weirdos sort of were like, "This is going to be the best game of all time. This is going to be our libertarian cyberpunk paradise for us to play around in forever." It's like even like that all the stories of like Elon Musk trying to like bully his way into the game by showing up at Grimes' recording sessions and stuff. And,
What's
and they were like, "No, you can't be in the game."
God, not only is Grimes is her music in the game, she has a whole quest line about if her boyfriend is cheating on her and all kinds of other stuff.
It's dumb as hell.
Yeah. Also, they brought her back for Phantom Liberty to not only put another song on the soundtrack, but to do an entire in-game concert.
Interesting.
It's
that rips.
Yeah, it like I think the song is okay. But the whole like presentation they do and how they work it into the setting, it really hits. So screw you, Elon.
Yeah, I remember that for push. That vibe that they were giving off, and they had their like one community manager who was like straight up making transphobic tweets, and so it was that element of it. It was very understandable why you would view Cyberpunk in a negative light pre-release, and like not like the girl cock ad that you see everywhere in the game. But
yeah, for Dr. Pepper, basically.
Yeah, exactly. But in 2025, it's just kind of like it's just part of the weave of the world, and it's fine.
Yeah. Like and it was definitely one of those sort of slow things for me. Sort of like when the game first came out, or like prior to it coming out, I was like, this just seems nonsense to me. I'm not interested. And then obviously all the stuff about how it performed and like just the general gameplay aspects of it. But like as we've mentioned, they went back to the grind on it, and they obviously there was a lot of crunch and stuff like that involved as well. Like, so I don't want to be like, oh, they crunched it out and finally we have a good treat to play. Obviously I don't want to just encourage that sort of stuff as well. But like, they certainly went back and they put in the effort and the time to actually sort of make it the game that it could have been and that it should have been. And like, you do have to respect that. And like that was sort of when it started trickling in from people who were finally playing it as it sort of as a complete game, and were like, no, this is actually really good. And that's over the time it sort of that built up to the point where I was like, okay, I got to actually finally pick this game up and try it out. And like without a few hiccups, I think it's been a pretty successful turnaround on it. In sort of both regards, because like you do, it's sort of lost its right wing audience entirely, and everybody I know who likes it now is like a hyper communist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Also, I would say CD Projekt Red has, bloomed into less evil than a lot of the other comparable video game companies now, where it's like, of
Mm,
course, fuck crunch, but it's harder to get mad at CD Projekt Red compared to Saudi Arabia owning all of EA, Microsoft,
hmm.
Blizzard, C-suite being like entirely staffed by CIA agents, and you're just like, oh, this like big Polish company that are lunkheads. It's just like you're just like, okay, this is less of a rage inducing thing comparatively these days.
Yeah,
And
I also, one thing about that ad in particular, um it out of context, yeah, it does seem really kind of freaky. It's very sexualized and very out there. But in context, it's right next to the ads for Legal Speed. What's up, my chumers, shroomers, and fumers? And all of the ads with like women's boobs hanging out and this, that, and the other thing, and three mouths, one desire. The ads for optics that are just softcore porn, like it fits in context. Once you're actually in Night City and looking at that ad on a billboard, it doesn't seem nearly as bad as it did when you saw it on Twitter back in
Mm.
2018.
it's downright tasteful compared to some of the other like I feel that it's like there's one that's just like straight up for beer, and it's like
Oh, Body
a
Dog.
bro just being like blah boobs, and it's just like the girl cock is like just like masterpiece theater in comparison. um
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
I
can you
shout out to
imagine
Body
like
Dog beer.
yeah, could you imagine like a GTA doing a similar sign? Like it would be so much worse.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like yeah, um, what was I going to say? No, I
uh
lost what I was going to say. Go on. Sorry, Reese.
the to loop around to the music, I it's incredible soundtrack. I think it is I really really special in a way that I didn't quite pick up on at first. I was like, oh, the radio tracks are where it's at. And then like listening to this and the way these are all composed, in that little official uh CD Projekt Red thing about the score, they were talking about, since this is all kind of like synth music, we wanted to make sure we were using analog synths as much as humanly possible. And I feel that really
Okay,
comes
interesting.
through. There's like a really like warm and modern balance to everything. It doesn't feel like a ripoff or a pastiche of kind of like synth 80s stuff, which is I think where so many games would go. It feels like a very modern like score as score, but has all of these kind of like electronic elements. And you are the EDM slash techno expert, Tom, but the and so you probably know better than me, but it I don't know. It just had a very interesting aspect to it, and it works really well in game. When I kind of am always wanting to hear the radio tracks, but the OST stuff has really snuck in as being just like this incredible soundscape for the game. That really, like, I'm to reiterate what I was saying before, really pulls like some maybe more disparate elements and just makes them just sort of like honey smooth, just super cool.
Hmm.
Yeah. I one of the big parts of Cyberpunk setting is combining a series of cultures into a cohesive, like, singular community within Night City. You have a lot of South American and Latino influences coming up through like Arroyo and the Glen. Obviously, Night City is physically on the map, positioned somewhere around California. Um, you have a ton of Asian influences coming in. You have a lot of African influence coming up. The
Mm.
spaceport company is, I believe, like Nigerian. They're based out of an African nation,
Yeah.
Orbital Air. It like the music is a combination of a lot of these influences, as well as like a I don't know. It's meant to sound in some ways very modern. There's those like hyper cyberpunky aesthetics with the like black with red lights on it that you find with a lot of Netrunner stuff. But there's also a lot of like very older settings, or excuse me, more nostalgic type settings where you have like Tom's Diner, the like Coyote Coho, like places that are trying to seem a little bit more, not necessarily quite old fashioned, but like yeah, old fashioned is probably close enough. Where it like it's that classic Americana that the way things were before everything went to shit. So that's kind
Yeah,
of one of the other things about Cyberpunk is that everything went to shit at one point. Night City
mhm.
is almost a post-apocalyptic society.
Mm.
Yeah, it'd be like stuff like Tom's Diner really makes sense because it'd be like something called, you know, like the Rootin' Tootin' Steakhouse today. It's just sort of like this incredibly
Yeah.
corny
Cracker Barrel.
throwback. Yeah, Cracker Barrel, exactly. Tom's Barrel is very Cracker Barrel esque to me, and I
Yeah.
feel like they're good at weaving that stuff in there, which makes the, you know, I'm not interested in like having a whole thing fussing with Cyberpunk about this, but it does take on the sort of like Oriental or I can't pronounce it. You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
sort of like
Orientalist.
anti-Japanese. Thank you, actually. Uh, themes of that are sort of like baked into Shadowrun and Snow Crash and stuff. That, you
Yeah.
know, is and Blade Runner. That is worse than some products, more so than others. But I feel like it's there. The tone is really softened in Cyberpunk, even though it is doing a little bit of that.
Mm.
I
I
think
think.
it
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
definitely one part about the Orientalism is I can't make a good excuse for the katanas. I have no answer for that. Making katanas the bladed weapon of choice is just it sure is a choice.
Because they're
But like
cool. It gets the cool
oh yeah,
part.
It's a really cool thing, I think. Yeah.
um like I really like the context of the corporate wars behind all of uh the various cultural influences. Like you
Mm.
have a lot of the Japanese influence in Night City from Arasaka and their treaty with Militech, which in reality Arasaka controls Japan and Militech controls what's left of the United States. So they're
Mm.
functionally nations, but they're also corporations.
Yeah.
Um, like their treaty with Militech back when Johnny Silverhand was a soldier ended up creating this blend of Japanese and American culture, and then of course because American culture is a blend of a whole bunch of different things, and the city attracted business from here, there, and everywhere. Like there are a wide variety of cultural presences, and like I like how that's more weaved into the story as far as instead of just being like Asian things cool.
Yeah.
It truly does make out like Arasaka's presence within Night City, and therefore the heavy presence of Japanese culture is like the result of overwhelming military strength, as opposed to just like, well, this was cool and it was inevitable that it was going to be this way anyway in the future. Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And there
I
there
think like.
are like you know, there's brash, ugly, sort of, you know, American branding stuff still exists in there. So
Yeah.
yeah,
it feels less like it feels less jingoistic because they make fun of everybody. That old duck. But you know what there's like the freedom beer or something like that, or the soft
yeah,
drink that's like feel free when you drink this. And so it feels a little bit softer because of that too. With it, and I don't really know the backstory of anything in the Cyberpunk universe. I was a Shadowrun girl, but it does sound like the enjoying the game makes me a little bit more interested, more so and more so as I play it.
Hmm. I think like musically as well, they pull away from like something that you could so easily see in this kind of thing of like having a load of electronic stuff and then just like putting some koto over it, or like
Yeah.
getting in like a bunch of traditional Japanese instruments. I'm thinking of like you might remember this, Ash, for Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, the Magic the Gathering set. They did a
Mm.
soundtrack. Um,
I
and
wasn't playing during that time, but I do remember OG Kamigawa, and I remember what they did with the Neon Dynasty setting. So
Yeah, and like that's a great setting. It's one of my
yeah,
favorite Magic the Gathering settings. But like the soundtrack they did is basically a worse version of what this could have been, where like they take all these sort of like electronic and modern synth elements and stuff, and then they'll just start randomly playing traditional Japanese instruments in it, or even like Chinese instruments in a couple of places, just to have like an Eastern sort of Orientalist sort of sound to it. And like I think one of the reasons the soundtrack works so well for the setting is that it is agnostic of that in a very
yeah.
good way. And I guess part of that is sort of trying to make it sound more futuristic, and not, sort of going back to more traditional elements of music. So, like, yeah, I think that's part of it too. But it definitely could have been a worse road taken with this for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's even like a God, because they have the game set partially with some scenes in the 2020s and the rest in 2077. You get to hear music from a half century apart. You get
Yeah.
to hear samurai and like what things sounded like in the 2020s versus the 2070s. And
Mm.
like because of that, there's that musical evolution. There's like more of a there was more of an interest in creating a diegetic reason for the music to sound the way it does, as opposed to just copying the format for the original Blade Runner soundtrack, which is all electronics and then one real instrument, the classic synthwave formula.
Hmm.
It's great. It's been done a million times before, and just redoing it again is not really bringing us forward.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. No, that's actually a good point you mentioned as well. Of just like there's music that is from in the universe is from the past, and like there is a distinct difference between like those eras of music. And
Mhm.
as you mentioned as well, characters who are into that music are sort of seen as being pretty lame. Um, like there's that quest earlier on where you have to like track down like the old venue, and it's been turned into a noodle shop.
Yep.
So you have to like track down this vendor in the market who's got a record, and sort of he gives you some backstory. Was he a member of the band, or was he like I
He's
forget who
a
that guy
groupie.
was. He was just a groupie,
He's a
was it? Yeah,
groupie. Yeah, you can
yeah.
actually see him in some of Johnny's flashbacks.
Oh, can you? Oh, that's
Yep.
class.
Um,
Fantastic.
yeah, and in addition to that, you also have during Kerry Eurodyne's quest, where he, as an actual part of Johnny's old band, is being an old stick in the mud about
Mm,
what music should sound like, and whether these newfangled artists are allowed to cover his song.
yeah.
Meanwhile, in universe and in on the soundtrack, there's two versions of the song chipping in. There's the original Samurai version, and then there's Carrie's
Mm.
cover, which I do believe in universe. Carrie's cover is the one that actually went and hit the Billboard charts, as opposed to the original.
That's
Um,
fun.
yeah,
Awesome.
it like you, God, you even play a rock show in game.
Yeah.
You have to put together a show and deal with band drama and this, that, and the other thing. Like it's a game that cares a lot about how music fits into its world, as opposed to just putting music with its world. It
Hmm.
like it's one of the like God, even the way the game explains food, like there's so much time and care put into the little cultural markers that create a world, a society that make things feel real, as opposed to just kind of slapping a coat of paint on it, looking at you, Starfield.
Indeed.
Something I think that lends this a huge air of credibility as well is that when the game does kind of acknowledge like throwback music, music from an earlier era, it's at least so far from what I've explored, the main thing is the blues station. And so they're just like have all this interesting kind of modern music, and they're just like, yeah, we also got a bunch of Miles Davis tracks in here. Miles Davis
Yeah.
still fucking slaps, and is
Yeah.
still like has a massive presence, no matter how far in the future we get. And then like there's that a track from the Blue Station plays early on, and I just left the station on for a long time and listened to it. And it was a great mood for sitting depressed in your apartment in game. And it was and I don't know. I just sort of like I think that is a touch that I've never heard another cyberpunk property ever mention the blues, and so to have the station there really felt right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good acknowledgement of the past to
Actually, thinking on the comparison between food in game and the music, there's a conversation you get to have with Takamura at one point about some yakitori. Um, it's made of scop, which is worms. They're farmed worms that are then turned into worm protein. Um, and obviously, all the seasonings and everything are synthetic, and everything is terrible, but it's served at an authentic stall with a chef who's dressed to look like he's working in an actual Japanese place's kitchen, and he's not just taking frozen yakitori out of a freezer and slapping it on a grill. And like it has all of the right vibe, even if you know that underneath it's not real. It is synthetic. It is this futuristic thing. And a lot of the 2077 set songs have that kind of vibe to it, where like there's some set dressing that makes it feel like, okay, yeah, no, this is a little familiar, but also that unmistakably futuristic change that like, yeah, it's really beautiful.
And I think that does, a kind of dovetailing into the music conversation as well with what you're talking about with food, is that like, I think, at least to me, cyberpunk is the shallowest aesthetic, and like on top
Yeah.
of being most concerned with authenticity a lot of the times in a way that could be really fucking embarrassing, and often is when you're like looking at people trying to like redo Snow Crash stuff. um and I don't know, I just think that it what you're talking about adds so much, because I feel like without these underpinnings, some of the design elements, which aren't bad at all, but I do feel like have a corniness to them that needs the music, needs these cultural touchstones to make them fit into the work, to make it easy to explain that away as like corpo bullshit, rather than just being like, oh, this feels fake, and not in a good way that feels like part of the world. Because then that can feed into the bugs, which are still pretty prevalent. I'm certainly not going to go into a big fuss about that,
Oh yeah,
but
they're nuts.
yeah, there. And I don't know. I'm glad we're doing this episode, because this is another one where I got to sit my white ass down and listen and really appreciate what they're doing with it, because I think it's a really special soundtrack, and did so much heavy lifting uh, during the during the hard times of Cyberpunk, when they were kind of getting stuff correct.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
The
All right.
the number of memes that they use those soundtrack clips in.
Excellent. All right,
All
so
right.
we'll jump
More
into the next
tracks.
block of tracks, I think. So let me pull it up here. Again by Marcin Przybylowicz, we have Modern Anthill. Then from Paul Leonard-Morgan, we have Adam Smasher and Hanako and Yorinobu. And then last track by Marcin Przybylowicz, which is Cyberninja. I sort of praise the game for not doing a lot of the Asian instrumental stuff, and then we played Cyberninja, which definitely has some Koto in it.
Yeah.
So I've
Yeah.
eaten a bit of crow on that, but again, it's only one track, and it is sort of appropriate given the character is quite literally a cyber ninja. So
Yes.
There's a lot of music in this game, so I feel like
yeah.
it's percentage wise, it's not too bad. And we have to play, the one that has it, so people can
Yeah.
know the full breadth.
It also
Uh,
does fit Oda
Yeah.
as a character very well. He both he and Takamura are
Mm.
very proper characters. They have a lot of honorifics and I have to speak a certain way, I have to act a certain way, I have to follow this code, and
Yeah.
and they're very traditional in that way. But then you look at them and they're two of the most borged out motherfuckers in the entire game.
yeah.
With Oda being almost as borged out as a maxed out V or Atom Smasher, and Takamura
Mm.
being pretty close. V multiple
Mhm.
times is like, oh, I don't know if I could take him. It like it would make sense for there to be some traditional Japanese instrumentals in that soundtrack, because like I feel like that's what Oda would ask for. That's what he would
Yeah.
want.
Indeed. Um, I suppose we'll talk a bit about the radio as well, because we mentioned it briefly, but we're going to play two. The next block is going to be some radio tracks, and I really hope I can get away with playing them. You mentioned when we were discussing the episode, Ash, that some of these are probably okay, and I had to include my girl Nina Kraviz in there as well, because yeah, I love her shit. So, and it's always a nice opportunity to play an 8-minute techno song on the on the pod.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, like again, it is really one of the better sort of selections of radio, like just a combination of like really good licensed music, like Reese mentioned, like the blues stuff, and like a lot of stuff that was done specifically for the soundtrack. Like we talked about Grimes doing some tracks, Run the Jewels contributed tracks. So like there's a good mix of like stuff that is bespoke for the game and stuff that already existed. And again, just like it really adds to the world, like a lot of these, and like compared to a lot of games, I would generally just turn off the sort of the radio unless I'm like in a car or have it like in an ambient place in the world. I usually like to just have that off. But there were definitely times where like I discovered one of like the DJ mixes that they've included in the game, and I just sort of literally just went and turned those on to do stuff around the house while I'm listening to it.
Yeah.
Because they did some really good work on it. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, having literal Cyberpunk creator Mike Pondsmith as one of the DJs in game is really cool. They obviously Nita Kraviz both being included as a separate character and an in-game DJ. One of the radio stations is canonically run by Judy's gang, the Mox. They've done a lot of work trying to make the radio fit within the universe and also be enjoyable to listen to. I personally am a Radio Vexelstrom purist. I love me some Vexelstrom. I find myself frequently listening to it and wishing that there were just more songs on there. Like
Yeah.
I wish I could mod the game to add more of my own music in with the blend that's already there, because I just want to listen to more Radio Vexelstrom, the voice of the machine.
Interesting.
It
Yeah.
I love all of the different radio stations, all of their different vibes. Shout out to Who's Ready for Tomorrow and I Really Want to Stay at Your House that we're going to be listening to soon off the Body Heat Radio playlist. Yeah,
Great radio station name, first off.
Oh yeah.
When we were talking, when you started playing and we were talking about Cyberpunk and you linked me, I really want to stay at your house. I think that was the start of sort of the ice cracking for me about Cyberpunk, where I was like, oh, this is fucking great. And I listened to the other stuff that you played and was just like, okay, this is really compelling. Um, And in game, I haven't had the same time in game that you guys have, but I do really enjoy the Pacific Dreams radio station.
Hell yeah.
I've been navigating towards that and just Night City, um, classic so far. And it's good. I don't have a lot of new thoughts on it about the radio stations, but it's just it's a great mix. I
Yeah.
I really love that they added more to it. That's the kind of addition that I love in a game, is that they added 3 radio stations after launch, and it's just like,
Mm,
yeah, why not do that? That's really cool. More music for everybody, so that's
Yeah.
awesome.
yeah.
I personally I have not seen Cyberpunk Edge Runners. I know what happens. I've read the lore. It's I don't need to. I get it. I've been there. I've done similar. It's cool. I will save myself the pain. But I really want to stay at your house came on randomly on Body Heat Radio after a particular mission in the main story quest, and I just like stopped, tabbed out of the game, and wrote like a fucking essay in a Discord server to some friends about like how emotional it made me at that one moment. Like, I wasn't ready for it. It wasn't scripted, but just like the fact that the game can create little moments like that out of nothing, out of nowhere, is a real testament to how immersive and beautiful its world is, and the soundtrack being a huge part of that.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, I think
I think we should jump into the
that,
tracks. I
yeah,
know that we are on a slight time clock, so I want to make
yeah,
sure
absolutely,
we
yeah.
get to everything.
Yeah. So yeah, we're going to listen to the radio tracks. First track we have by Ratboy and IBDY, Who's Ready for Tomorrow. Then we have Rosa, Walton, and Hallie, Coggins. These are all in game, because I know the I Really Want to Stay in Your House is by Let's Eat Grandma. Yeah, so that's I Really Want to Stay at Your House. These again, like a lot of in-game names that were given to people, and then as mentioned, Nina Kraviz, with Bara Nova, which is just another pseudonym for her, and that's called Pilling in My Head.
So get away.
I do love being able to, again, as I say, just play an 8-minute techno track this podcast. It's not often I get to do it.
Mhm.
We
But
should do
yeah,
the 8-minute techno track episode.
I have a playlist.
Hell yeah.
Along with 20-minute trance tracks. Like you were talking about sort of like the amount of different or sort of artists that we that they got in to do like bespoke songs and to do sort of songs as other artists in universe. I thought that was a really sort of interesting choice to sort of give the world a bit of its own identity, sort of separate from ours. Yeah, no, it's really good. Like as I say, the radio stations are absolutely fantastic in this game. They're up there with among the best, I would say. And yeah, I actually didn't know for the longest time that I Really Want to Stay at Your House was from Cyberpunk.
Oh my god.
Because I am a Let's Eat Grandma fan. I've been like listening to them since their first album because they're fucking great. And I posted a link in the chat with that when they went on KEXP to play it. It was really good, and that's sort of where I became familiar with the song. So then when I got to the game, I was like, oh, did they license it for this? And then I checked, and like I was like, oh no, they actually this is made for the game.
Hell yeah. My only connection with Cyberpunk's music before I had tried the game out was I had heard I Want to Stay at Your House and Who's Ready for Tomorrow just like a million times in short form content, and I eventually added them to my playlists. I had also heard about a musical reference within the game, a particular character named Skippy who likes to fill some dead air sometimes by going bom bom be-dum bom be-dum bom. Which is of course the main riff to Rihanna's classic banger Disturbia. A song I do regard as the unofficial theme song of Cyberpunk 2077. Go read the lyrics. Do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I was so interested in a game that would reference such a good song that I don't hear enough, and yeah, it wow.
Cool.
No two ways around it. It's just wow. I got sucked in by pop music and ended up being enchanted by Cyberninja and pon shit and all kinds of crazy tracks.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
All right. So the next block that we have coming up is Phantom Liberty, the DLC for Cyberpunk, and this is where it was sort of like just universal shitting on Cyberpunk until Phantom Liberty came out, and then people are like, "Oh, it's good now." It's just like, buckle up. You want to play Phantom Liberty? Sorry, I was a hater too. I remember Jessica Harvey, who is the lead designer, the lead dev on Paratopic, like just a very kind of like, counterculture, anti-mainstream person, just being like, this is the fucking coolest thing I've ever played, and just being like, fuck, she has the bona fides. I'm not going to be able to argue against Phantom Liberty. So, Ash, can you give us some understanding of what Phantom Liberty is? Because I only know it as the good Cyberpunk DLC.
Yeah, so quickly, developmentally, as far as like game design goes, I would regard it as very similar to Witcher's Blood and Wine. It's a setting that is self-contained within the already greater setting. Blood and Wine being in Toulon or wherever it's Witcher, France. And Cyberpunk's Phantom Liberty being set in Dogtown, which is a shithole. It's a self-contained story that does interact with the rest of the game in smaller ways. But it is really the design team coming back years later with a better understanding of their game and its mechanics and using those mechanics to their fullest. It gives you a wide variety of missions and encounters. There's all kinds of stealth stuff. There is a stealth escort mission where I did not realize until my, I think, third run through it, that there is a security camera that you can walk past, and if you do not either destroy the camera quick enough or delete the footage, you can fail that mission, I think, 2 in-game days later.
Oh my goodness.
Because you got caught on a security camera.
That's
It
wild.
is really pushing Cyberpunk's mechanics to their fullest. It's story wise, it's a spy thriller.
Hmm.
A God. In the main story quest, V does something stupid and alerts some very powerful entities to her presence. And one of those entities decides to do something even dumber in order to get something out of it. It involves the president of the NUSA, aka the CEO of the corporation Militech, one of the 2 most powerful corporations in the world. The other being Arasaka, who's well, I don't want to spoil Konpeki Plaza, but yeah, you have to save the president. You have to hang out with Idris Elba and his friends and get it done, and also maybe figure out who caused the president to be in that situation in the first place. It's a really troubling story at the end of the day. There's no good answer to the questions that it presents. There are absolutely wrong answers, but there are no answers that are right enough to make you feel good about yourself. I
Yeah.
have not found an ending of Phantom Liberty that I truly want to go for. And story wise, and I make that decision mostly mechanically at this point.
Mm.
There being a major diversion, whether you get to play through the cool guy action hero ending, or whether you want to play Alien Isolation with Cyberpunk's rule set.
Okay, interesting. Um, yeah, I was curious about the whole Idris Elba of the thing because, like, to me, it just sort of seemed like, well, we got an actor to come in and do the first game, so now we have to get an actor to come in and do this. Um, but yeah, it does seem like it's sort of a very different vibe with his inclusion in it, and I suppose differently as well. Like Idris Elba is a DJ and a musician on his own, so he contributed some music to the soundtrack, and he did some selections for the radio stations that they added for Phantom Liberty as well.
Yeah.
So there's that touch to it as well that is good. Did he do any songs in character like he did for Hobbs and Shaw? Because that's the best part of that movie.
The songs are not in character. However, one of them does play when you first enter like the main hub area, like main shopping hub area of the
Oh,
DLC.
okay.
It's
I
a
see.
cool little introduction. I
Very
think
cool.
that like getting Idris Elba as like a big name is definitely, it looks a little marketing focused on
Mm.
face. It uh, Solomon Reed, the character he plays, is really interesting. He's quite the enigma. A character that, like, the more you think about the cyberpunk universe and his position within it, the more interesting he is. I'm not sure if they could have gotten anyone but a actor of like Idris Elba's caliber to play someone like Solomon Reed to get that character right.
Yeah,
Um,
that's
it
fair.
it
I suppose
like
not dissimilar to getting Keanu Reeves to do Johnny Silverhand. Like
yeah,
you need a certain sort of person to do these kind of roles.
you need someone with the presence of James Bond, and
Mm.
as many much internet blood has been spilled arguing back and forth about whether Idris Elba could be actual factual James Bond. He certainly could play the role of a character not named James Bond who does everything that James Bond does.
Yeah.
He does a fantastic, morally gray secret agent with, yeah, God. I don't want to go too deep into Solomon Reed as a character, but he is incredible.
Fair enough.
I think
Um,
Idris Elba is like really the classy option as well.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not gonna call Idris Elba like not famous. Like obviously he's a very famous man, but it's like it's a different like it's a different math than Keanu Reeves' fame. Like Idris Elba is not an epic meme. He's just like a very well-known, well-respected actor, and a sort of like. But you know, like your mom might know Keanu Reeves, but your mom probably doesn't know Idris Elba. And
I don't know.
and
I feel like Idris Elba's got a lot of mom appeal.
Oh yeah.
I listen. All moms are gonna love watching Idris Elba. Don't get me wrong. I guess just to say that I feel like it doesn't feel. It feels just like a really cool choice where they're just like we're gonna just take one of the coolest, best actors working today and put him in it. And I love
Mm.
Keanu Reeves, but Keanu Reeves has that meme quality to him. There
Oh
is
yeah.
like an aura of Keanu Reeves hate. Like I think like Idris Elba is just like above criticism, and I think it's and you know you just imagine what a American dunderhead would have done with that kind of casting choice. You
Yeah.
know where I'm going. Jared Leto, a nightmare all around.
Um,
Um,
I think that one of the easiest comparisons to Solomon Reed outside of Cyberpunk from Idris Elba's other roles would be Luther from a
Mm.
BBC TV show by the same name.
Luther's
Um,
incredible,
it
mhm.
incredible show.
I think the one key moment that made me really like dial in on like this needed to be someone like Idris Elba. This wasn't just a marketing hire. They really did need an actor like this. Um, there's a moment where Solomon Reed does something incredibly violent that I was not expecting him to do. In character, in universe, it makes sense for him to do it, and like it is explained to your character in game that it makes sense for him to do it. But like seeing someone like Idris Elba with his charm and wonderful voice and everything just snap and really put down some ultra violence with no hesitation is
Yeah,
it's sure something. They really did need him for that.
excellent. All right, I'm cognizant of time here, Ash. So I think I want to jump into the next block of tracks. Yeah, all these tracks are by PT Adamczyk. We have "I'm a Netrunner," "Just Another Weapon," "Contra La Luna," and "Test of Loyalty." Excellent. As a nice little sampler of Phantom Liberty, I think we discussed that maybe once myself and Reese have played Phantom Liberty, we might
Yeah.
reconvene and do a Phantom Liberty episode.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Maybe a Patreon radio tracks episode.
Maybe.
We've been talking about using Patreon for more licensed heavy stuff. So
Yeah,
that might
try
be a
and get-
good inaugural effort. So
Perhaps,
yeah.
yeah.
two paths, much like Cyberpunk 2077. We have branching story paths available.
Yeah.
So yeah, thanks for listening, everybody.
Yeah, thank you. We're gonna cut it short here, I think, because Ash has to go and it's quite late. We've been going on for quite a while here.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ash, do you have anything you want to plug, or even just to tell people where they can find you online if they want to talk to you about Cyberpunk?
Nothing particular. I do not have an online based job. You can find me at Blue Sky at Tieria TIERIA dot bsky dot social. Yeah.
Excellent.
I fucking love Cyberpunk. I fucking love RPG games and banging music. Shout out to the track we have coming up as the final one, the closing track, the credits track to the game. It's a cover of one of the Samurai songs.
Yeah.
That's done in game by Johnny Silverhand's band and in real life by Refused.
Oh yeah. Ash, thank you so much. It's always just like we're really lucky to have you come on the show because you're so knowledgeable about this stuff and so sharp. We're really taking advantage of you by having you come on and
Please, I'm happy to do it.
Thanks again.
Yeah, absolutely. Reese, do you have anything you want to plug before we go?
Not this time.
The usual.
I'll do it next time.
Find everything in the show notes as always. You
Yeah.
can find us on Patreon, CRT Sound System. Come join us in the Discord if you want to hang out and chat about video game music. Let me know or let Reese know if you want to come on the show. We'd love to have guests. So yeah, the last track is a in-game cover of Never Fade Away by Samurai by P.T. Adamczyk and featuring Olga Jankowska. So yeah, thank you so much, Ash, for joining us. Thank you as always, Reese, and thank you everyone for listening. Good night.
Bye bye.
Good night.
'Cause we lost everything. We had to pay the price. I saw in you what life was missing. Your little flame that consumed my hate. I'm now one for reminiscing, but I traded all for your sweet embrace. 'Cause we lost everything. We had to pay the price. There's a canvas with two faces of fallen angels who loved and lost. It was a passion for the ages, but in the end, guess we paid the cost. A thing of beauty, I know, will never fade away. What you did to me, I know. Said what you had to say, but I